Hello, you're watching my YouTube channel, and I'm your host kamranarshad. Today, I've invited a guest from a vlog, and I am on a discuss her life, her visions, her goals, and most importantly, her fate. Hello and welcome. We are delighted to have Gulbano Usman here today with us. But to kick off, Miss Gulbano, could you please tell us what inspired you to pursue a career as an English language instructor at the Institute of Career Development, and perhaps share a bit about your journey leading up to your current role? Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here, Kamran. It's honor to be at your channel. And yes, like you talk about my journey and what inspired me. The, the most important inspiration in my life is the motto of delivering your best to the people, serving humanity, I guess. So, there are many ways you can help human beings all over the world, but I guess that teaching is the best way you can raise beautiful citizens apart from any other profession, with due respect to all the professions. So this is one of the reason behind that I wanted my city to change, I wanted my country to progress and change, and for that I need strong individuals. So I had to select that.
All right. Then, can you please share more about your experience in teaching methodologies, especially for IELTS, TOEFL, and PTE preparation? But I just want to know what is the difference between the IELTS, TOEFL, and PTE? Why is that?
Well, they are language proficiency test. One who has to go abroad for. So there are some language proficiency tests, such as IELTS, TOEFLs, and PTE. Well, yes, there is a bit of difference in the presentation of these exams. The pattern of the exams are slightly different from one another. However, the most important part is the destination they are heading towards. So there are different countries where a person is destined to move. For example, Australia, Canada, UK. So you have different tests, skill-based tests, where you take the test and you qualify, and then you move abroad.
If someone who doesn't know how to speak in English and he can go to abroad,
They can. I would say that why don't they take classes? See, language is learned every now and then. We learn language very easily. I think it's an obsolete idea where we used to think of that it's very difficult to learn English. Nowadays, the resources that we have, that the way we are connected digitally, globally, with all over the professors and the tutors all over the world, I think learning language is no more a difficulty now.
right. But could you please tell me, ma'am, in this society we are living in the society where if a person comes to you and he knows how to speak in English in front of you, in front of people, so we definitely say that he is a very confident person, even though he doesn't know what is happening in the society and what should the do, how to present the word, how to choose the words. He doesn't know actually, but he just know that how to speak in English. So how can we get out from this situation because he is not motivating the people which is around him. He is actually demotivated to those people who doesn't know how to speak in English, even though they have knowledge, they have a lot of new skills that.
Thank you for a very important question. Many people have this, let's say, phobias, and I call it a phobia because it's English is never the level of your. One can never measure your intelligence with the perspective of knowing that you know English or not, right? So again, as I said, that it's just a language. The more you practice speaking this language, the better you are at it, and the more you confident you become, right?
Hmm.
Another
Hmm.
thing that you have raised a very valid concern nowadays. People try to take it as a matter of measuring somebody's intelligence. I
Hmm.
think this is something as human beings we should avoid that. Being
Hmm.
um, judgment, giving judgments for a person. Might be I'm not a good speaker of English, but I have more knowledge. That's the only thing. And if you talk about people who think that if this person does not know how to speak English well, So I think that they need to change their perspective because nowadays, as far as I've been working with many of the professionals, what I observe is they look for your skills, they look for your capabilities, they look for your potential, and it's barely just assumption that I don't know language. I can learn language, as I told you. There are multiple mediums.
Hmm. All right. But the thing is, when you have been to China, when you've been to Japan or any other country, they don't judge you that how you speak to English, right? What is your pronunciation? What words you are using that? But in Pakistan, we judge the people. Why?
Because English has become a global communication language. People widely use English as a mode of communication globally,
Hmm.
and it is spread far and wide. So, with
Hmm.
due respect to countries, yes, I think we should stand with our own language. I am proud of being an Urdu speaker. I love my language a lot. I truly, I can flaunt my language anyways. I would love that to be an Urdu speaker. But yes, since I am a tutor, I am a trainer, a teacher trainer. So, in order to communicate with people globally, I need to know English in order so that I can deliver my capabilities or my best instructions to the learners who are connecting with me worldwide.
All right. Then if a person who doesn't go anywhere in school or anywhere in academy or he doesn't even see any institution, he can learn the English language.
I think learning always happens when you put up practical implications. You know, language, it always needs some practices. I usually quote this example with my students that a child, when a child is born, he does
Hmm.
not know any language. There
Yeah.
are no signs and symbols, but gradually that child starts learning. You pass on a gesture to the child, he would smile back. If you're angry, he would be serious. So yes, learning needs time, and you need to put in an effort. If I want to be a good learner, I need to be a good reader. If I'm a good reader, I would definitely learn out new things and new languages easily. So this was just at a personal level. But yes, for my error correction, for my feedback, for my constant betterment, I need a trainer who can guide me in a valid way.
All right. A good listener can be a good speaker, right?
Yes.
And a good reader.
A good reader can be a good speaker, an intelligent person, because I believe if you are a good reader, you are confident in your knowledge. So I at that point of time, language is never a barrier for a person who has knowledge.
But I'm a little bit confused right now because everyone comes to me and says if you want to improve your speaking skills, you have to listen, you have to watch the movies and news. But no one comes to me and says you have to read the newspaper or a novel as well. So should I read?
Well, these are skills. If you want to improve your listening, listen to native speakers. If
All
you
right.
want to improve your speaking, practice speaking in English. If you want to enhance your knowledge and your vocabulary, read. So these are skill-based learnings, and there are techniques to enhance your skills. And as I told you, that you need a person, a co-partner, and that co-partner can only be a trainer or a tutor who can
Hmm.
guide you according to skills.
Hmm. All right, man. Okay. What specific strategies do you use to help students achieve high scores, especially in IELTS, TOEFL, and PT exams?
So, when I talk about students and the learners, the first thing that we do is we always put them to go through a diagnostic test,
Hmm.
because it's very much important for me to have an idea what my learner uh, knows already and
Hmm.
what my learner needs to know further. So, as I told you, it's a language proficiency test, English language proficiencies test. So again, depending upon like if the students wants to migrate, of course we tailor the lesson plan according to the desires and needs of the student, which are more important for us. So So for me, if a candidate wants to learn general English, I would definitely take him to a diagnostic test where I would learn to know what level is he at that particular time. And then I would plan a lesson for him in the course of time where I would want him to meet the certain level he wants to.
Then how did you judge him that whatever he is? If I talk about myself, then what did you judge?
Sorry, could you please repeat the question?
Yeah, well, actually, how did you judge the person? How did you judge the level?
Like I told you, these are diagnostic tests, and when we take the test, of course, there are certain standards of marking criteria. And if the student falls in certain criteria, we make sure that this level is met.
Hmm. All right. Can you hear me? Actually, your mic is mute. Yeah, now it's okay. Okay, ma'am, how has your CELTS, self-certification, enhanced your teaching approach and effectiveness in preparing students for language proficiency tests?
Well, yes, my cell test has really made wonders into my professional journey.
Hmm.
I've got to know and I've explored the teaching horizons which I never knew before. I
Hmm.
got to learn the strategy of how effectively I can manage my classroom, I can manage my students, I can make impressive and perfect lesson plans that tailors the need of my student. So
Hmm.
yes, taking a self-test course through ICT is one of the best decision I've ever made. And
Hmm.
yes, there are multiple courses that are available for the teaching professional. For example, there are CELT A, then there is Delta, and there are many other courses that professionals would do. And I would really urge them to please focus on your professional grooming, which is highly imperative for a person in order to excel into their fields.
Hmm. Okay, I got it. Then could you provide examples of success stories or improvements from students you have tutored in IELTS, TOEFL, or PT? Can you share any of example?
There are multiple examples.
Right.
So, if talking about a few of them, I would just quote one since we are
Hmm.
having a little bit of time. So,
You
I would
can
just
share
quote
too.
one.
I would love to
Right,
listen.
sure. So, when we talk about listening, then how effective we can develop the skills of the person for listening specifically. So I got to know different strategies, different classroom activities, then the grouping of the candidates. How can I group the people in a way they can practice listening and speaking together? And then how to segregate the abilities of the students. For example, one may be a focused group, one is an independent group. So, and then it goes on, then you implement those activities, and then you execute those activities and you monitor them. And the best part is the learning objective is met at the end of the lesson. So, this is what I have learned. Yes, one more important thing that I have learned while I have taken CELT S is to reflect upon my own teaching. At
Hmm.
the end of the lesson, it's very much important for me to learn what I have taught and to learn what went wrong during the lesson.
Hmm.
This has really helped me to make my new lesson more practically be best in order so that my students' needs are met to the best level.
Hmm. All right. What do you find most challenging and most rewarding about teaching English language proficiency exams?
So, if I think then you talk about people in Pakistan, since there is a big shift, because with due respect, I truly appreciate still my own country. I'm too proud of it. But
Hmm.
yes, there is a big difference in Cambridge education and in the education that we are getting nowadays.
Hmm.
And because of slight difference in the curriculum, people sometimes are hesitant, they are really reluctant, they are nervous in terms of speaking because they are
Like
not
me,
into the.
I have the same problem.
So I think that I read it somewhere. It was a scholar who said that overcome your fears, whatever you're fearing of, just face it, and you'll face bravery at the end of your fears. I believed in that, and I always want every learner to please be positive. It's just a language. It's such a beautiful language, just as any other language could be. So, but yes, one thing is motivation. If you are motivated and you have the zeal that I have to do come what may, I think nothing can stop you on earth to achieve your level of proficiency. And plus, add on, if you get a good tutor, that's that's a blessing that I'm saying.
Ma'am, what is your qualification and your schooling? Can you share?
Sorry.
What is your qualification and your schooling?
All right. My academic qualification, I have done my master's in English language and literature. Well, it's been years back, it's a years old story now. And I have been a teaching professional since 9 years. This is my 10th year into this profession. But once I started teaching, I never wanted to stop. So I wanted to excel.
How many students did you teach them so far? Any guess?
Every day or for a specific exams.
Anything else on every day? How many
Well,
students
they
did you teach?
Well, every day I have multiple students. I have students or virtually also who are preparing for TOEFL exam, for OET exams. There are people who are working abroad and they want to. So yes, I teach them TOEFL, I teach them IELTS, I teach them PTE, and there are countless. I'm sorry, I don't remember the number. At the moment, I still have, I guess it's more than 20, but I do not believe in gathering a lot of number of students because the quality of work suffers. So I think for one project, 20 students are more than enough. And yes, recently I have had the privilege to conduct a training on lesson planning. It's just this weekend I had, and there were tutors from different cities, from Gujranwala, from Bahawalpur, I'm sorry, and there are multiple cities. So we had a successful session then. So it's not students, there are teachers, there are tutors who come for their professional grooming, and I do conduct sessions for them.
You are from Lahore, right?
Yes.
All right. How do you tailor your lessons to accommodate the different needs and skills levels of your students preparing for IELTS, TOEFL, and PT?
Well, this is what I'm unique for. A tutor
Hmm.
has to bring all its candidate to the same page because
Hmm.
this is what analysis are. You need to analyze your student instant, that what level that person is. So, as we are dedicated professionals, so the moment we start talking to people, we quickly analyze them that this is
Hmm.
their level, and of course, a diagnostic test gives us a better understanding of their
Hmm.
level of language,
Hmm.
and then we try to design activities like I told you that in here group making groups is the most important step of executing your activities,
Hmm.
because if you fail to make sense build groups, then of course any candidate can be overshadowed by a very independent speaker. So which is why we need to take into the account of all the things, components of teaching
Hmm.
effectively.
Hmm. Hmm. I got your point, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us today. It was a wonderful having you here and learning from your experiences, ma'am. But before we wrap up, is there anything you would like to share with our audience or any message you would like to share?
I would like to say that be happy of what you have achieved. I still believe that learning never ends. It's a lifelong process. Till the time we are alive, we are all learning. I've learned from having to talk to you as well, Kamran, and it was a good experience. And I think that believe in yourself and make strong prayers. So once you are staunch in your mind about your goals, I think that it happens all of in a sequence that you actually achieve your goals and desires. And lastly, but not the least, I would say that be proud of the country you belong to, as I'm really proud of the country I live in, because today if I'm teaching to people abroad, uh, Pakistan has made me so I am able to teach people and I can go across the borders and to make a difference. So Alhamdulillah, I'm truly honored and blessed to be a part of this country, and I still believe that we are going to make progress inshallah. So just try to dream and work hard to make your dreams come true.
Very
Thank
nice
you.
advice, ma'am. Thank you so much again. Have a blessed day. Take care, ma'am. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you, Kamran. Allah Hafiz. Take care.